Ciao, que calcio fi listeners. We are back again, week after week, holding to our commitment here, and we're back on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night, pre-Thanksgiving podcast, and happy to be here. We got me, Beef, and Paul. Do you guys want to say hello?
How's it going, people?
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the pod. Steve is not here. Not surprised. Not committed.
Steve's on veteran minutes. He's like Ibrahimovic. You gotta minute manage him, but those minutes you get him, he's unbelievable. But if you consistently play him, he's gonna burn out.
And it's his birthday.
And it's his birthday.
No excuses.
Yeah, Beef would have been here on his birthday, but Steve's a little different. Gave him his time off. He put in some PTO, and here we are. But a lot happened today, good and bad, and we had Champions League uh, and great games coming ahead in the weekend that we'll talk about. And we'll also be playing a new game today, that introducing a new game to the podcast. Hopefully, interactive with you guys, and it might carry over to two podcasts, and we might be doing more of these in the future. So we look forward to that. But well, the good news was Champions League. The bad news was the footballing world lost a legend today.
Oof.
And Paul, in the video format, he's repping the Napoli jersey. If you don't know, Diego Maradona passed away, I think, at the age of 60.
Too young.
Yeah. And would you like to say anything, Paul?
No, that guy was the man. This is honestly probably up there, if not number one, with the saddest celebrity deaths, which is the weirdest feeling of all time, not knowing someone and then just be like, damn, I can't believe they died. He's one of those guys, you look back, if you watch some of the old videos, it's like he's doing things that modern day footballers and soccer players are doing now. But he was doing them back in the 80s when nobody has seen any of those type of moves. Won the World Cup with Argentina and took a horrible Napoli team and won two championships, two league titles with them, and one in Europe. Truly the greatest. I think he's Lionel Messi, but way edgier. He was Lionel Messi before his time, but just had a tough side to him. But way before his time, and I'd say conservatively a top two player ever for me, if not number one. And that's not just saying it because I'm wearing a Napoli jersey, just because like I watch his videos, I'm like, geez, that guy he's done a lot. So the GOAT.
Yeah, I agree completely. I'd say he's number one. People would say Pele, but there's a lot of things like Pele. He was the first one to do it. He connected the world of football through how good he was. But Maradona was just like you said, doing things Messi's doing today. Back then,
Yeah.
he was one of the more polarizing players. His documentary on HBO was awesome, and pretty much explained everything Paul just said. And yeah, it was unfortunate.
He was the king.
Yeah, unfortunate. He had so good side that had such a crazy side to him, but also that made him who he was.
If anyone listening has a moment, just watch his warm up before, I think it was a European Championship game, where he's literally just dancing and juggling the ball, and then 20 minutes later dominates the European team. The guy was out of this world. So rest in peace to the king.
And the hand of God.
We don't talk about that.
We do a little bit though.
No, not at all. We do not talk about that.
But yeah, rest in peace. And like Messi said today, he will never be gone because Diego Maradona is eternal.
It's true. Good words.
So yeah. And then we will move in to the Champions League games that were played today and yesterday, I believe. And some crazy games happened.
That was my fault.
With
I don't know if
Atalanta,
you picked up that audio.
Atalanta beating Liverpool 2-0.
What a win.
Huge win.
Yeah. That was huge.
2 goals. Ilicic back on the score sheet along with Goossens. People saying Klopp was going to complain, but I didn't hear anything about it.
I
I
didn't
don't
hear
think
much.
he did. That was a great win from Atalanta. They needed that win. Was that at Anfield?
Yes, I
think so,
want
yeah.
to. It was.
They have been horrible in the league, Atalanta, and to come back and beat Liverpool was huge for them. They're firmly back in the making it out of the group for their Champions League, and I don't. If you root against Atalanta, you're a horrible human. I think that's where I'm at in my life. You're just a horrible human that hates life. If you root against Atalanta, you gotta root for them. There's
They're
just
gonna win the league. I told you this already. Like I predicted this.
I hope so.
They're going to win the league.
If it's not Napoli, I hope it's Atalanta. They're just such a fun team to watch. They're modern day, just attacking. So like Gasperini, such a lovable guy. Like Papu Gomez, Ilicic, all of them. Everyone they touch turns to gold. I hope they win everything. They deserve it. Oh, I just thought their nickname's pretty cool. They're La Dea. I didn't include them. That's a good one too.
That win puts them 7 points, tied with Ajax, and one team's basically out of it, Midi, whatever Lind.
Whatever their name is.
So it's going to depend on a couple
Mkhitaryan
games.
or whatever.
But Atalanta does have the easier games left, already playing Liverpool twice. So
Oh, that's big.
yeah, very big for them. And then in Group B, Inter today lost to Madrid, putting them in a very, very tough spot. 2 points bottom of the group.
I'm an anti-Inter guy. I think I'm gonna label myself that.
Yeah, I think week after week you're calling them a dumpster fire, and
And
week after week they prove you right.
Conte, I think he's a smart coach, but he's just played that whole team wrong. I don't know. In the summer he bought all old people, and they're just so slow and old, and just put crosses in the box and look uncreative. I don't know. That Inter team, I hope they burn into flames. I hate that team.
Their rumors were so good at the beginning of the summer, and then it just faded. And they signed.
I mean, they got Hakimi.
They got Hakimi, but then they were supposed to get like Emerson, and they ended up signing what's his name, Kolarov, instead of Emerson. And then all their like plans to sign all these really good players, they just ended up signing kind of old people.
I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games with Ashley Young as your left back. He literally doesn't understand the language, and you want him to win games. So I don't know what you want. Like, what that was in general. And then you have Christian Eriksen, and Antonio Conte keeps like tripling down, saying Eriksen stinks, and he doesn't have the right mentality when he's a really good player. And you probably should play him over like Brozovic, who I think is a bum.
Very defensive.
So I know it might be a little bit different, but I don't know. You could always slot a couple. You could mix. You have a lot of versatility in that midfield. You could probably mix and manage some, but that Inter team is very disappointing.
I feel like when you play 5 at the back, you can play 1 attacking midfielder at least.
Conte loves 3 at the back. That's his thing.
He has wing backs though, too. But
they're more like he plays them like mids. They just get back.
Yeah.
I'd say Champions League is pretty much a lost cause for them, but in the league, no one's really running away with it quite yet, and no Champions League could be beneficial for Inter.
If Conte wins the league and loses, and doesn't make it out of the group, that'll be a successful season. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This was a very winnable group for them, so you have to see it as a bit of a disappointment.
Mönchengladbach is sneaky.
They can still make it out.
Yeah,
they definitely can still make it out. They have, but the way that they've been playing, they look horrible.
I think they need like a lot of losses and draws. It's not just like they need to win their last 2 games. They need like a lot of teams to lose at certain times and stuff, just because of the way the points are shared.
Well, they most likely won't get first, but they could if they beat Shakhtar and Mönchengladbach. And Madrid loses to Mönchengladbach. Yeah, it's a lot of things have to happen.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but they can still get out.
The case with every team, though. And then yesterday, Lazio beat Zenit in a pretty good game. I watched that one. Goals from Immobile, great goals from Immobile, and then Parolo with a low screamer to the bottom left corner. He's 35 and pretty much snuck up on me. I thought he was like 27.
I hate when that happens with players.
Because like he was just coming up like in FIFA, like basing it off of that. Like, oh, he's an 879, then he was like an 81, and then an 82. Oh, this guy's like coming up a little bit. Nope, he's 35.
Nope, he's an old bag.
But yeah, and then Chelsea also clinched the group along with Sevilla. Absolute
Yeah,
cake off the
can we just mention that Sevilla can't win Europa League this year? Like,
Didn't they tweet
it's
that?
it's an open race now. Okay.
I know.
They're
They'll be back.
Juventus ended up clinching with a late winner from Morata. Man U looking decent, good position. PSG a little bit lucky, but holding on for dear life. Otherwise, business as usual. Bayern clinched. City clinched.
Aside from the Atalanta-Liverpool result, it seemed like a pretty business as usual Champions League slate.
Yeah,
Did
agreed.
Spurs play? Who'd they play? Someone bad? No, they're Europa. I forgot. I'm so sorry, Hop.
That wasn't even on purpose.
I wasn't even on purpose. I'm so
right.
sorry. No, that wasn't even on purpose.
Oof.
That's awesome.
Hey, we'll edit that out. Edit that out. And all right, the podcast starts again now. Okay, go.
And it does with the new game that we invented. No one else did it. We're going to do a little bit of a round of 32 tournament between what we decided as our top 8 club or country nicknames. You know, nicknames such as the Baggies, the Eagles, the Potters. A lot of English Premier League team names have great nicknames, unique nicknames, whatever you want to call it. The Canaries, Beef's Norwich team. Do you know Bolton off the top of your head, Beef?
The Wanderers.
The Wanderers. Wow. So we each came up with our own 8, and we will be putting them into a bracket on the fly because the bracket that we were supposed to use, I hit the back button on it and it deleted.
Awesome.
So that's gone. But we have it pretty easy. We're gonna do me versus Steve. We'll do we have a seeding 1 through 8. We'll do my 1 versus his 8. You know how it works. And Beef versus Paul. Would it be better to do it random? Yes, but this is the easier way to do it. So we'll do it that way, and we're gonna do matchups 1 by 1. We're gonna debate it. We're gonna move them on, and hopefully we'll get as far as we can today. And for the sake of time, we might cut it in the top 4 or 8 for the next pod. And then when Steve's back, hopefully he'll have some of his teams to root for. But we'll kick it off with each of us reading our 8 and revealing that to the people.
I'll take the start.
First. Oh yeah, Paul first.
I'll take the start. I'll start with my 8. I went with Wolfsburg nickname at my 8, Die Wolfe. I just think that's a great nickname, Die Wolfe. Not much else to that. Pretty black and white. At 7, we have Bournemouth, the Cherries. Fantastic nickname. I love cherries. And the color red, also really cool. Netherlands, the Orange. Fantastic name. I'm a big color guy. I love colors. Even though I don't see colors too well, I love colors. At 6, I have Azzurri because the blues in Italian sounds a lot cooler than the blues in general. Azzurri sounds really cool. At 4, though, I think it should be a little higher. I have the old lady of Juventus. At 3, I have the Super Eagles of Nigeria. At 2, the Tractor Boys of Ipswich. And at 1, everybody knows it. If you don't know me, then you're pretty much incompetent. The Tractor. Oh, no. The Baggies. Sorry. The Baggies.
Led up to it and almost fumbled it.
Almost fumbled it, but got it over the end zone there.
Wrong football, but we'll allow it.
True. Go ahead, Beep.
All right. So at 8, we're going to have the Irons, also West Ham, pretty common one because, hard. Stay hard. At 7, we got the Villains of Aston Villa. Pretty common one again. I think my lower ones are pretty common ones, and my higher ones are where you're like, who is that? What is that? But number 6, the Black Stars of Ghana. Pretty unique, kind of like that one. Number 5, we got the Magpies. Also, I was not aware there are multiple teams that go by the Magpies. Newcastle and Notts County both go by the Magpies. I think there's a couple other ones, but it's a pretty cool bird name, so we'll go with that one. At 4, we got the Socceroos. Gotta love Australia. Number 3, this is where it starts to get weird. I'm just giving you a heads up. We got the Cucumber Growers of Leganes. Who doesn't love a nice cucumber? If they're gonna grow them, good for them. At number 2, we got the Beach Boys of Concord City. Apparently, this came just because their original stadium was next to a beach, so they just got named the Beach Boys. And at number 1, we have the Biscuit Men of Reading. No idea where that came from, but they're the Biscuit Men.
I bet their stadium was near a bakery or something.
Probably. That would be my best guess.
Usually how it works.
I just thought it was an elite nickname.
Oh. I just thought the NYCFC should be the pastrami sandwiches.
The Rubens.
The Rubens. That'd be fun. Who do we call the contact on?
I saw I forget what their name is. They didn't have a bad one, but it wasn't that.
It should be A. Marie.
Yeah. So then we'll move on. Steve isn't here, but we got a list from him. And his list we'll start with 8. We gave him, because some overlapped, unfortunately we had to give him some substitutes. But here's one. Los Millonarios, which is River Plate. I think it was based off of, they moved locations, and they moved to a wealthier part of town, and they called them Los Millonarios. The Potters of Stoke. The Bulls, which is Torino, a beloved Italian team by this podcast.
Shout out Bellotti.
Yep. The Seagulls of Brighton. Aquile, which is the Eagles for Lazio, one of his Eagles teams. At 3, we gave him the Eagles, which is Crystal Palace, his main team, his diehard team through and through, his Roy Hodgson team. Whatever you want to say about it. 2, the Yellow Submarines, which is Villarreal of La Liga. And at 1, he had the Flying Donkeys, which is Chievo Verona. One of his favorites, one of the podcast favorites for a long time. And who doesn't love a nice flying donkey? So we'll have to do some debating for Steve in his absence. But those are his 8. And then my 8. At 8, I have Nimes Olympique, or Olympique, the Crocodiles.
Oh, that's a good one.
7, the War Elephants of Thailand, their national team. 6, the Dragons of Wales. 5, the Mattress Makers of Atletico Madrid, because their original jerseys resembled mattresses. At 4, the Midnight Riders. The Revolution, just knocking off Philadelphia Union last night, the top team in the league. No big deal. 3, the Blades of Sheffield United. Very gritty, very cool logo, and great nickname. At 2, Die Nationalmannschaft, the German national team, which stands for the national team, or the national 11, I think was another connotation of it. And at 1, which I had before Steve, but Steve also tried to get this one, De Godenzonen, which is Ajax, the Sons of Gods, which is pretty sick.
Not bad.
All right, so I guess we can start with my 1 versus Steve's 8. I'm going to have to keep note of this. So my 1 versus Steve's 8 would be De Godenzonen versus Los Millonarios of River Plate. What are we thinking?
I don't know. This one's pretty easy for me. I think the Ajax one definitely. It's a strong. That's a strong one seed and a favorite maybe to win the whole thing. The Sons of what is it, Sons
Yeah,
of God.
it's literally godly.
Yeah, I don't. You really can't debate that. Um, I don't know. I'll tell you right now, if I'm going to play Ajax and I know that that's their nickname, I'm a little shaking in my boots. That's one of the only nicknames outside of the baggies that I get afraid of. Like you're going to go play the Tewksbury Redmen in high school football. I'm not afraid of that. But if you're a son of God and that's your club badge nickname, I'm afraid of that for sure.
I'm just gonna take the Ajax one. Steve had it as his one above his 8, so that's my reasoning. There you go.
Yeah, it's in part of their logo. Great nickname. Literally means gods. I agree. Moving that forward to the next round. My 2 versus Steve's 7 would be Die Nationalmannschaft versus the Potters.
Ooh,
That's what's up in the air. Yeah.
not that close. I've always liked the Potters since I was a young buck.
Not an easy match at all.
Yeah, I'm a big Potters fan. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to go with the Potters on this one. That's an elite nickname. At number 7, that's a pretty elite nickname.
That's a
Yeah.
tough 7 seed.
I'm gonna have to agree with the upset. Stoke team
Shut up, Peter
and the
Crouch.
Potters. Even though it doesn't mean Harry Potter, I'm gonna go with it anyway.
That's what I think. And I think of Harry Potter, I think that real tall who's that real tall striker they used to have?
Peter Crouch.
Peter Crouch. I think of Peter Crouch.
Yeah, just a gritty team. German, that's a pretty intimidating nickname, but when it comes out to it, if you put it in English, it just means the national team, and the Potters takes that one. I'd have to agree. So my 3 versus Steve's 6 would be, wow, tough one. The Blades of Sheffield United versus the Bulls of Torino.
That is that's a gutsy one. You got Gallo.
That's a grit.
Versus the Blades defense. That's
a whole lot of grit.
Teams aside, yeah, that's just two gritty nicknames, two gritty teams.
Those teams love a nice long ball. They love a nice 1-0 win, 0-0 tie to get them through. Those teams will do 0 step overs and step on your ankles. Straight. Yep, those teams do nothing fun. I don't know, man. It hurts me to say I'll go 51% the Blades. The Blades is too good of a nickname to go against. Even though it's Il Toro, I can't. And I will say that Torino stinking out loud right now has a little bit to do with it.
And then some background info. Formed in 1854, was the first English club to use United as its name, Sheffield United. And it was nicknamed the Blades as a reference to the Sheffield's status as a major producer of cutlery in the UK.
Oof.
So, I mean, that's gritty.
Yeah, they ooze grit. Both teams ooze grit. It is awfully conflicting for me, but I think I'll have to go with the Blades.
Yeah, give me the Blades.
So the Blades move on to the next round, and we move on to the 4 versus 5 of me and Steve.
This is where it gets tough.
It is the Midnight Riders for me versus Steve's Seagulls.
Go Seagulls. I love a nice Brighton. I think that pure hilarity. I don't even know if hilarity is a word, but pure hilarity. The Seagulls is one of the better nicknames I've heard in a while.
Same thing with the Lovebirds.
Same thing with the Pelicans of New Orleans. That's hilarious too. I'd vote them.
Just a non-intimidated bird at all.
It's the stupidest bird. Arguably the dumbest bird. Like probably top 2 dumbest birds.
Easy. I'd go with mine still, the Midnight Riders.
I'm gonna go with the One Hit Wonder, "Come On Eileen" by Dixie's Midnight Riders. So
I don't know. I can't believe you guys didn't vote the Seagulls there.
You know what? In a one-on-one game, Brighton versus the New England Revolution.
Yeah.
So you got to take the Revs here. The MLS is just an elite league, far superior to the EPL.
Well, what I said earlier about being intimidated by being the sons of God. It's the exact opposite to where you're playing the Seagulls and you're laughing so hard playing like the Reading Seagulls and you think that's fucking hilarious and you won't even like I feel like you won't even focus on the game. So it's like doing the opposite to get an advantage. I'm gonna go I go Seagulls.
You go Seagulls. Yeah, I mean,
On a dying effort.
Revs just beat Philadelphia.
Up the MLS.
Do we put an MLS team beef through
Up
beef?
the MLS.
Okay, I'd have to agree. Sorry, Steve.
Steve might be slightly happy because of that, considering he's a CP fan, but you never know.
Now we do Steve's 4 versus my 5. And that would be Aquile, the Eagles of Lazio, versus the mattress makers of Atletico Madrid.
Ooh.
So you got
the
funny factor of mattress makers versus a pretty good one of the Eagles of Lazio.
This one's tough for me. I'll be the last one because I think Aquile is such a cool word in Italian that I really can't go against cool words in Italian.
No, I think I'm with you there. I think I'd go Aquile.
I would probably go the mattress makers because I don't know Italian. So that would probably, like, you guys say these things to me, but you say these things to me and they mean nothing to me. Like, you probably sit there and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I have to go to Google Translate and go translate that word now because you guys are making me waste my time.
Well, off of a quick tangent, I think cool words in any language, whether it's French, Spanish, Italian, anything, if it's cool, it sounds cool, and hear like a foreign guy or girl say it, I'll 100% get behind it. So I think Aquile is one of those words that I'm like, oof, I like how that sounds. So unfortunately, the funny factor doesn't get it this time for me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the factor gets you through, sometimes it doesn't. We will go with Aquile for Steve here of Lazio, and we move on to Steve's 5. No.
Steve's 3.
3 versus my 6, which would be the Eagles of Crystal Palace against the Dragons of Wales. Wow. Again, this is a good matchup. 2 flying creatures.
I'll let you go, Paul.
I don't know where I'm going this way. I'm just gonna talk words and see what comes out of my mouth. I think dragons are cool. And that's where I think dragons are cooler than eagles. We already sent an Eagles team through. Dragons are highly intimidating.
I'm gonna agree with you on this. I cannot vote for Roy Hodgson. Can't do it. Also, Wales Golf Madrid in that order. So we're taking Wales.
Do they have T-shirts of that? Can we make T-shirts of
that?
Because
I'd buy T-shirts.
That's a great T-shirt to buy. I'd buy that T-shirt.
Good T-shirt. We make merch. Cake out to fi. But yeah, I'd agree. To give them the sweep, I'll give the Dragons of Wales the push through. Unfortunate Steve's home team gets kicked out, but he got 1 Eagles through.
The better Eagles, most would say.
Then we move on to Steve's 2 versus my 7, which is the Yellow Submarines of Villarreal versus the War Elephants of Thailand.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll go Yellow Submarines here. I think that's a hilarious nickname in general. The War Elephants, a great nickname, but a different matchup, I would pick the War Elephants, but the Yellow Submarine's a little too strong for me.
I don't think you can go wrong with a Beatles song. Good song. But you can't go wrong. We're going the War Elephants.
Wow.
Because they're elephants and they would smash a Yellow Submarine to the ground. That's my thoughts.
Depends how big the submarine is.
Don't care.
Elephants can go. Can the elephants go under water?
Don't care.
They can swim, I think. But to give the War Elephants a little, I don't think I have background, but what I alluded to is that in Lord of the Rings, they had those giant elephants.
No, don't go Lord of the Rings on me. Are you nerds? This is not nerds talk. This is sports. This is guy stuff.
So we're allowed to talk about Harry Potter, but we're not allowed to talk about Lord of the Rings?
Yellow Submarines won World War too. I'm not. Don't fact check me
I'll
on.
put Yellow Submarine through. I think we love the Beatles here. Some people don't, but we love them.
This is a pro Beatles podcast. You
Pro
don't like the
Beatles.
Beatles? Get out of here.
But I had to say that about the War Elephants because if you watch that movie, that's a great part of it. The Yellow Submarines move through. And we move on to Steve's 1 versus my 8, which is the following matchup. Ooh, this is tough. The Flying Donkeys of Kievo versus the Crocodiles of Nîmes Olympique.
Give me the Flying Donkeys. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's not even close to me. They're literally the Flying Donkeys. Like,
tough one seed.
What do you want?
I'll go Flying Donkeys and a little bit of context. Verona, the rivals team within the city, gave them that nickname. They said when they'll make the first division when donkeys fly. So they made the first division and named themselves the Flying Donkeys. So I always thought that was a cool tidbit.
Good tidbit. So Flying Donks move through with a sweep. Unfortunate for the Crocodiles, but it had to happen. So we move on to the next, or the other half of the tournament, which is B first balls, 8 seeds. And if you guys want to kick it off, go right ahead.
What are we doing? B, if you do your 1 seed versus my 8 seed.
All right. So my 1 seed is the Biscuit Men of Reading
versus my 8 seed of Die Wolfe of Wolfsburg. Mick, you can kick off voting.
So the Biscuit Men versus Die Wolfe. So we got English team versus German team. In general, I think Germany is pretty gritty. England has its gritty sides. And I'm factoring this in a little bit. I like the Wolves. I like a wolf as a mascot. And I was going to put Roma in there, but I couldn't really see that their nickname was actually the Wolves. So in place of Roma, I'll put Die Wolfe as my vote.
I'll lean Biscuit Men here. I think Biscuit Men is one of the funnier nicknames I've heard in a long time. I give B-Fly credit for doing his research. I like Biscuit Men.
This one's actually pretty close to me. You know, as I said, I'm not a huge other language person. I don't know too much, so I mean that one's a little obvious. Die Wolfe, kind of a little bit more obvious than some of the Italian ones that I hear. I do think the Biscuit Men is hilarious, and that is why I put them as my 1 seed. So I'm going to lean Biscuit Men here.
Good pick. I think they deserve to go through.
Yep, and they do with a sweep. Now, B, for typing's sake, is that Biscuit Men one word?
Yes, 1 word.
Okay, thank you. So we move on to your 2 versus 7.
So my 2 seed is the Beach Boys of Concord City.
Oof. Versus my 7 seed, the Cherries of Bournemouth.
So we got a full England matchup here.
I don't think the Beach Boys are gritty. I'll say that. And just the band. I'm not talking the Concord team. I don't think the Beach Boys agree. I think like they hang out by the beach and party all day. You talk about grit, first thing comes to my mind is cherries. I think cherries are so gritty. I think the grittiest things I've ever heard of. So I'm gonna go with cherries.
I would agree with you up until you said the Cherries are gritty when they got relegated last season. That's kind of one of my reasonings. I don't think they're that gritty because they got relegated and didn't have the grit to stay up. They didn't have, I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Beach Boys, almost like we were talking about the Beatles earlier. I believe that this podcast is a fan of the Beach Boys. I would say that. I don't know if I can talk for all the members here. I don't know what Paul and Steve's thoughts are, or Mick's. I feel like Mick is probably a fan of the Beach Boys, but I'm going to vote Beach Boys on this one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as you can tell, there's a lot of factoring of grit into a lot of these nicknames and who moves through, but I don't think the Beach Boys are too not gritty, and I'm definitely a fan of the Beach Boys as well. Cherries is it's just a fruit.
It's so gritty.
So I would just listen to the Beach Boys with the top down in the car, just blaring Not that
No,
this has
that's
anything
great.
to do with this team at all, but I'm going to be voting for the Beach Boys as well to move through in this.
I don't know. I don't know. Just stay there. Let's
So,
go forward.
the Beach Boys move through. KC at Cherries. And we got the 3 versus the 6 of Beef and Paul. Continue.
Number 3, I got the Cucumber Growers of Leganes.
Versus the Netherlands nickname of the Orange.
A little background on Leganes Beef. What league is that?
La Liga.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just want for the people.
Which means the league for those that don't speak Spanish. Because I know
Correct.
Beef, you mentioned previously that you don't speak multiple languages, so I thought I'd translate.
You are correct. I do not.
Well, it means the league.
Are you sure on this? Like, did you Google Translate it?
No, they downloaded a iPhone Translate. I use that.
It is this new app.
Yeah.
It is true.
It's not that good. I think Google Translate is superior.
So we got the Cucumber Growers. A little bit of a funny factor there, versus the Orange. And if you put that into the foreign language, I believe it was Le Orange.
Which sounds way cooler.
It sounds way cooler. You got to put it in the foreign language. And I don't even know off the top of my head what the Cucumber Growers in Spanish would be, but I don't care right now.
I didn't want to try and pronounce it and butcher it. Let's put it that way. That was the point.
They say the second grittiest thing outside of cherries is cucumbers, so I'm gonna go Cucumber Growers, because I think a question I have off of that is, do all 11 players that start grow cucumbers?
I mean, that sounds like a pretty gritty job. So, if we are going for grit factor here, it does sound kind of gritty.
And another counterpoint is, does everyone from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Orange Little People?
Yes.
Are they included in the Orange? Are they on the team?
They're
Oompa Loompas.
Oompa Loompas.
I
believe the Oompa Loompas are the Ball Boys.
Okay, then I'm voting Orange for sure, because that's awesome. And do we get to go to Florida? Because I think of oranges, I think of Florida.
True.
If we get to go to Florida and I vote oranges.
Now, I know you focused on colors a lot, Paul.
I love colors, yeah.
Stated in the preface here. But another nickname of Netherlands is the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, forgot about that. That was awesome.
I'm pissed we missed that one. But
yeah.
I'm going to lean the color here with Le Orange and Paul's Netherlands team here.
Oof.
I'm not too upset about it. I mean, if Oompa Loompas are the Ball Boys, I don't see how you can beat that. So
I'm gonna go Le Orange, because I think anything in a foreign language sounds cooler, and Oompa Loompas as Ball Boys kind of convinced me. Oompa Loompas are great.
The next round, and 4 versus 5 to round off this turn here.
Shout out to my number 4, the Socceroos of Australia. Shout out Tim Cahill.
Great pick.
Versus my 5, the Azzurri.
Wow.
So we got a national team matchup here.
Yep.
The only reason, so I'll try not to. I obviously would want them to go through, but I won't play biases this podcast. Any other podcast I will. Azzurri sounds so much cooler than the Blues in general, so that's why I put them in there.
I will agree with that.
What was your nickname, Beef?
The Socceroos.
Reminds me of Dunkaroos, which are so cool. So I'll have to go them. But that doesn't mean I'm picking against Italy. So any of you that come into these podcast comments or give me text after, I'm not picking against Italy. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I'm leaning on Socceroos as well. Who doesn't like a nice combination of words? National animal of Australia, the kangaroos, and soccer. I don't know why they called it soccer when they probably call it football. But yeah, I agree. Socceroos move Beast 4 through.
I thought it was going to be a lot closer until Paul mentioned Dunkaroos, and then it's just shout out Dunkaroos and see you later, Azzurri.
Dunkaroos are fantastic.
I mean, you've heard it in past podcasts, and he when he says something Italy biased, he says this is going to sound biased, but he just proved us wrong. He's not Italy biased.
I'm not Italy biased, and the haters are are probably stopped listening already, saying that I am, but I'm not. I'm very objective, and I see things glass half full, I think. I'm making this up as I go along, people. Bear
They're
with.
gonna win Euros. They just don't have the best nickname, is all. Okay, understood.
But their clubs in Italy do. Musi Volanti. Yes. Okay, next.
Another 4 versus 5 battle. Just switch it up here.
I'll go, since I'm the higher seed, I'll start leading off. My 4 seed is the old lady of Juventus.
And my 5 seed is the Magpies of Newcastle / Notts County / I believe like 2 other teams.
Magpies is a great nickname, but the old lady is hilarious. And you can't tell me that's not one of the funnier nicknames they're just nicknamed the old lady. I heard that back in 2011. I almost wet myself. That is the funniest nickname up there with the Baggies. Just the old lady.
I think it was, I forget what the background on it was, but it was like, I don't even know off the top of my head. It was something that they were like the youngest club, but they were turned into the old lady. I don't even know.
I don't know the history to it, and I think it's hilarious.
Great name. Magpies, also good nickname. I lean Juventus there.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a magpie is a bird. I had to look this up because I had no idea what it was. It's kind of like a tiny bird. I don't know. It's not very big, not very intimidating. And also a lot like Serie. It ain't over till the old lady sings. So
I think old lady.
We'll give the sweep.
Hilarious thing to call a club. That is hilarious.
The old lady, or the Vecchio Signora.
There you go. And at number 3, I have the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and I think that Steve, looking down, would vote for this. They're like his Eagles, but super.
They're Super Eagles. All right, so we actually have a African matchup here. My number 6 is the Black Stars of Ghana.
That's a very mysterious.
That's actually pretty tough.
Yeah, pretty mysterious. Seems like a tough or pretty cool logo. If I saw it in my own head, I'm leaning Super Eagles as well, and their kits are kind of putting it over for me.
Are we a pro Eagles podcast?
Some would say.
I am a definitely not pro Eagles. Sorry.
Well, bald Eagles.
Balance.
Well, what kind of Eagles are we talking? When I think Eagles because of Steve, I think of Roy Hodgson, which just puts negativity into my brain. So
I'm gonna go Super Eagles because I want to see what a Super Eagle's like. I hope they mean bald eagle. An eagle, and then there's bald eagle, which to me is a super eagle. So, America.
I think Super Eagles going through. I probably would still vote for the Black Stars. I believe it comes from their flag. They have a black star in the middle of their flag. Also, shout out Asamoah Gyan. That guy's a legend. That is all.
Super Eagles move through. 2 versus 7.
Oh, I don't know, Beef. This is gonna be a tough one for you to beat. Everyone knows where I'm going. My number 2, I have the Tractor Boys of Ipswich Town.
All right, my number 7 is the Villains of Aston Villa.
Oof, that's easy for me. Not a good matchup in my brain. The Tractor Boys take it pretty easily and pretty evidently why I picked them.
I think in a straight up match, I think I have probably have the upper hand on this one. But according to nickname, I probably do not win this one.
Mick?
Yeah, I'd agree. Tractor Boys was picked twice by team members. Steve tried to pick them. Paul already had.
I also tried to pick them. They were my number 2 also. So
yeah. So I think
everyone loves Tractor Boys.
Just through that, they should get put through. The Villains. It's like it's not the Villains with an AIN. It's Villains with an ANS.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not as cool as you think it is. I'll go with the Tractor Boys moving through.
And then at my 1, I hold this one close to my heart. I'll try to say it objectively. It's the West Bromwich Albion Baggies.
And my number 8 just oozes grit. It is the Irons of West Ham.
Wow.
It is a pretty gritty nickname. But I just think of a pure hilarity standpoint, nicknaming a club the Baggies is just up there with some of the funniest things I've heard in my entire life, which is why I'm a fan of them.
I think I'm actually going to take the grit factor on this one, Paul. This was my grit factor pick for everything. It's just the Irons. What doesn't scream grit from that?
Hey, iron sharpens iron, beef.
Paul, stay hard. The Irons.
Yeah, try to go to the supermarket without your baggies. That's right.
I go to Costco, so I have done that before. Yes.
Nope. Cart's a baggie.
All right. So it comes down.
Factor.
Well, we know Steve probably he'd appreciate the gritness of the Hammers in that one, of West Ham. However, the Baggies, for a little background, they were called the Baggies because during a period of their glory, they wore baggy shorts. Simple as that.
That's some of the funniest things. It's not like during World War II they held bags to help the fallen or something. Like, I don't know. Something like heroic. It was, they had baggy shorts. Yeah, that's it.
And then also their chant, boing boing baggies. This was in relation to the club's foundation by spring workers. Boing boing.
Again, makes no sense whatsoever.
Just funny. It's not as weird as you'd think. It's kind of gritty a little bit. Not really, but a little bit. And the funny factor just puts it over the edge for me. And I'd say put the Baggies through.
What other club yells boing, boing, boing when they're doing well? They're not even when they're scoring. Like, if the team's, like, playing well, to just yell boing, boing, boing. That's the stupidest shit I've heard in my entire life. I love it so much.
It's fantastic. So that concludes the round of 32. And we now are down to 16 teams. And not sure off the top of my head who's moved through and who has a good amount left. But looking at me versus Steve, it's pretty split. Steve may have had one extra. And through Beef and Paul's, it's also pretty split.
I think Paul had one more than me, I believe.
Yeah, I think Steve and Paul maybe edged me and Beef out a little bit there. But that's how the cookie crumbles. So we'll move on. One more round maybe and knock this down to 8 people. And then end the pod with some EPL Serie A talk, a couple big games. But moving on, what would it be? The first matchup versus the fourth matchup? That'd be how it worked. So we got two.
I remember none of who won.
Huh?
I don't remember a single team that won.
Exactly. This is fresh in our minds. And going to be a surprise to everyone after going through all those matchups. 1 through 8, mine ended up winning De Zonen versus a tough matchup, the Revs. De Zonen would be me.
Yeah.
Give me Ajax.
Yep. I agree with Ajax.
The MLS got their upset. That was their Super Bowl.
Yep.
World Cup, whatever you want to call it.
A Super Bowl. Okay, so De Zonen moves through in that match. And the Revs is eliminated officially. Next would be the Potters versus the Blades. An England battle.
The Blades.
Yeah, I'm with the Blades as well.
All right, so I think the Blades are going through. I would still lean the Potters because I just think of Harry Potter every time I hear the Potters, but that's my thought process. So
that Blades versus Gods next round though. That one I'm gonna be up late thinking about it for a while.
One to watch and something to watch for the next pod. Next is another great matchup. This isn't scripted. We have Aquile, Lazio, the Eagles, versus the Flying Donkeys of Kiel.
Oh no! Don't do it to me. You two vote first, and if I have to be the deciding factor, I will.
I'll start it off. I think we're going with the Flying Donkeys here. It's my thought process, going straight into it. the Flying Donkeys immediately. Once again, not a big language guy. Sorry. Flying Donkeys.
Paul's waiting for last, but I think his job's going to be pretty easy. I'm also going to go with the Flying Donkeys.
Oof.
Aquile are great different wording of the Eagles, but we have more Eagles ahead, and a lot of Eagles were in this race to begin. But yeah, I'm going to have to go Flying Donkeys there.
I'm going to go NA. Just bypass me.
Did not vote.
Yep.
Good move. Can't pay between children. So next, the last matchup of me versus Steve would be, and it happens to be me versus Steve, the Dragons of Wales versus the Yellow Submarines of Villarreal.
I'll go Yellow Submarines of Villarreal. I still think that's hilarious. It's one of the I'm leaning more hilarity lately.
See, I'm stuck. I think Yellow Submarines is the better nickname, but every time I think Wales, I just think Wales Golf Madrid, and I think that's hilarious because Gareth Bale was dancing after a game while he was still in Madrid to that, so I just thought that's funny also. But we're going to vote for the Beatles here.
All right, so it's done and dusted, but I'm going to vote the Dragons just for to give them a little boost heading out of this tournament. So that concludes me versus Steve. And to reiterate, we had Degot and Zonin, who will be facing the Blades in the next round, and the Yellow Submarines, who will be facing the Flying Donkeys.
It's going to get tough.
Yeah, those are to look forward to, and when we get Steve back, those will be fun matchups for him to get his 2 cents in.
I will say, Steve not being here and still getting 3 of his teams through is pretty legit.
I mean, we gave him 5 of them.
I mean, you're not wrong.
He's a professional, Beef. He knows what he's doing.
But 2 of his actually made it through. His 1 and 2 seed made it through. So, yeah, we move on to the other half, Beef versus Paul. And since you guys probably don't have it in front of you, we will do Beef's 1 seed who made it through, the Biscuitmen, versus his actual 4 seed, the Socceroos.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going to let you guys start.
I'm going to go Biscuitmen on here. I think it's up there with one of the funnier nicknames I've heard for a club. I love biscuits. And dogs can also eat biscuits. I love dogs. If you vote against the Biscuitmen, you hate dogs. So.
This is a tough one. Definitely just 2 funny nicknames going at it here. And who doesn't love Australia? But I'm going to put through the Biscuitmen as well. Which is 2 Biscuitmen. And going into next pod, I'm going to do some extensive research on the Biscuit and why they're called the Biscuitmen. But just for that sake, I'm going to put them through here. Beef?
I'm going to give... It's a tough one for me. I'm probably going to pick the Socceroos here, give them a little boost of confidence. But, I think Australia is kind of great. As we mentioned, Dunkaroos, great. As we mentioned, Kangaroos, also great. They have things called Joeys. Isn't that cool? Like, Joey.
Australia's okay.
They have giant spiders, by the way, which is kind of...
I was about to mention that. That's the only thing that I'm afraid of.
Everything's big.
Yes.
So, unfortunate to see the Socceroos go, but the Biscuitmen outpowered them there. And we move on to the Beach Boys versus the Orange.
This one's... I'll let you go, Paul.
I'm gonna go with the Orange again. I think I voted them last time. I don't like the Beach Boys right now. I just hate their name right now. I hope they don't win this. I hope they come in last, which is not possible.
That is not possible. I was about to say.
I hope they come in last.
I think I'm gonna lean the Beach Boys here. Pretty easy one for me. Paul did say the Orange and not however you say it in Dutch, which I think would have get.
It's pronounced La Liga, Beef. That means the league.
Orange.
You didn't put it like that, so therefore I'm not taking it like that. I'm taking it as the Orange, which to me is a little bland. Also, you could say not the national team's best nickname, as we mentioned earlier with the Flying Dutchman.
True. Missed opportunity there.
So, they definitely get around. We're going for the Beach Boys.
So it comes down to me. I know this doesn't have to do with it, but we'll clarify here. The spelling is Oranje, so orange. And then also Paul, talked earlier, Lee Azzurri, that's the Blues. He didn't call the Italians the Blues. I think it's kind of interchangeable here. Not holding him to call it the Orange. And then again, I know this isn't their nickname that Paul used, but the Flying Dutchman is a nickname for them, and that's pretty sick. So I'm gonna lean them.
Wow, look at that. That's tough.
That might be cheating, but
He used my own fight against them as a fight for them. I would like a recount.
unfortunate beef. But the Beach Boys get sent packing.
Not
We
a
still
fan
have the
of-
Yellow Submarines to vote for in terms of bands. But we move on, and it is Paul's 4 seed, I believe, the Old Lady versus. Oh no, Paul.
No, again?
Oh no,
Did it happen again?
it happened. The Old Lady of Juventus versus the Baggies.
No. No.
I think this is an easy one for Paul, but go
You
ahead.
guys go. I don't want to do it.
Okay, go ahead, Beef.
I would like to refrain and make Paul pick from his own choices. Thank you.
No, if that's going to be the
Fuck
case,
you guys.
I'll take it away. I'm going to lean the Baggies. We talked about it 2 seconds ago. Baggy shorts, boring, in allusion to springs that the foundation used to use or used to be nearby. They used to work with them. Just goofiness, and Paul's loved this team forever. It's been ingrained in all of our heads for a while. No matter what, even if we didn't like the team, we knew the Baggies were there. And I'll go with the Baggies, even though the Old Lady is also a good one.
Even though the old lady, I want it to be an honorable mention. It is absolutely a hilarious nickname. One of the best in the world. Just the old lady is just pure hilarity, but the Baggies is just way too good. You
Yeah,
can't.
any
it's
list you look at,
The Baggies, yeah, it's
the
like
Baggies is close, and then the Old Lady's also there.
I guess if you're
Oh.
tearing it out, it's one. Baggies is like the top echelon of nicknames, and then right under it's the old ladies. They just got a tough matchup. Old ladies could have made a good run versus someone else, but they're just playing a way too strong of a nickname.
Beef.
I just wanted Paul to pick, so I'm just gonna pick the Baggies because I think it's a better nickname.
Thanks for putting me through that. I appreciate that, buddy.
You're welcome.
So the Baggies move through versus the Old Lady in that 4-1 matchup. And the last matchup, another tough one. This is Paul's matchups too. The Super Eagles of Nigeria versus the Tractor Boys of Ipswich Town.
Tractor Boys, lock me in.
Yeah, Tractor Boys on this one for me.
All right, that's 2 for Tractor Boys. Quick and easy from these two. But I'm gonna vote Super Eagles. Give them the vote.
Something for next tournament.
Yep.
Get the confidence up, you know.
So the Tractor Boys move on into the next round of 8. And for a little recap, the Zonen of Ajax moved through along with the Blades of Sheffield.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. The Yellow Submarines of Villarreal versus the Flying Donkeys of Kiev Verona. The Biscuit Men of who beef?
Reading.
Reading versus the Orange of Netherlands, and the Tractor Boys of Ipswich Town versus the Baggies.
Ooh, that's a heavyweight.
That's a tough one.
That's a heavyweight one.
That's
a heavyweight.
I looked over it, but yeah, those are the
That's
matchups.
heavyweight. I can't wait for Steve's input on that one. That one's gonna be I need Steve's 2 cents on that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that'll be fun to look forward to, and we'll do that next
Bookmark it.
pod. And then to quickly cap off this pod, we'll look at the Serie A and EPL matchups heading into the weekend, and there's a couple good matchups in each. Beef, if you want to lean towards the Premier League matchup or matchups of note.
All right, so we'll start off with the greatest league in the world. All right. So Saturday, actually, we have a game Friday, but who cares about that? It's Crystal Palace playing, so we'll avoid that.
Sneaky game.
Yeah. So Saturday, not too many like barn burners, so I'll move to Sunday. We have Chelsea versus Tottenham. I believe the game is at Chelsea. Pretty big game here. Spurs are top of the league. Chelsea, supposed to be fighting for the league, if not a top 3 spot, pretty much on lock with all the money they spent. I'm just going to pick Chelsea because I don't like Tottenham. That's my thought process. I don't really know what else to say.
I don't want to say this, but I might. Every time I believe in Jose Mourinho, it comes back to bite me in the butt. I think what he's doing these past, 9 games in the league has been fantastic. I just don't believe in him. With that said, I do think he pulls off a result this game versus Chelsea. I love this Chelsea team. I think they're young. I think they're fast. I think they're just a complete team. I think they have a great mix of youth versus experience. I love it. But for some friggin' reason, I think Jose Mourinho is being that SOAB that just pulls off results and is just on a revenge tour. I don't know. I'm going to die on that hill, but he's going to come back and drop like a 5-0 game and just get smoked and get sacked by the spring. So take it for what you will. I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham, late minute, 90th minute goal. I don't mean to. I like Chelsea. I really, really, really like Chelsea. I think they have a great team. That's not against it. I just, for some reason, I think Spurs are just in form right now. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Agreed. Both teams in form. Tottenham winning 4 of the last 5, Chelsea winning 3 of the last 5, but no losses from either of them. Just wins and draws. One draw separates them. Little things of note. Alderweireld picked up a knock. I believe he's out 2 or 3 weeks. So that little knock to the Tottenham defense. Home field advantage for Chelsea, obviously. Timo looked a little weird the past couple games. I'm not sure. I think I sent to you guys the other day. I think the Spain pounding of Germany may have gotten his head a little bit, but I think he's going to start scoring again, and this could be a defense he could do it against. We counted out Tottenham last week against City, and they proved us wrong there. I think Jose is one of the best managers in the world and in history, but that could be a big advantage for Tottenham. Lampard's still fairly new, and sometimes it comes down to a managerial strategic play rather than talent on the field, because I think Chelsea is more talented.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. Some listeners may completely disagree with it, but I do think if a pure talent standpoint, Chelsea has that advantage. There's just something about Spurs lately that I don't know. They're just like winning games. I don't like it.
But Chelsea has found their goalie. That is
huge.
Parts of the season, because Mendy is great and Kepa was trash.
He sure was. What's your score prediction?
I'm gonna go at home for Chelsea. 3-1 Chelsea. Flip-flop score. Because I don't think they keep a clean sheet. They've been much better defensively, and goal differential and points for, points against shows that. Huge improvement, but I don't think they keep a clean sheet here.
Yeah, I got 2-1 Chelsea. I don't think they can keep a clean sheet, but I think it's a late goal. I think it's 2-0 most of the game, and Tottenham scores late.
Yeah.
All right, book it.
Hopefully that comes true. But
and then
that's the biggest game.
There's Arsenal Wolves, which I'll touch on quickly. I'm just going to say both these teams love a draw, 0-0. Boom. Thank you.
Yeah, both mid-table too, so it doesn't help anyone.
Nope. I think they both love draws too much also.
Either 0-0 or 1-0. I think someone will get a chance. I'm going to lean Arsenal. I believe in your Arsenal. This is one of those games where everyone's like, same thing with Liverpool last week versus Leicester. Everyone's like, oh, Leicester's going to win it easy, and then Liverpool smoke them or win. I think it's the same thing with Arsenal here, where everyone counts Arsenal out, and then they just win anyway.
They just can't score. They have a good defense. They can't score. That's been their problem, which is the complete opposite of last year. So,
I think Arsenal's the better team. It's just they're being very strange and a lot of inter-club problems right now.
When you headbutt a guy in the 51st minute, it doesn't help your chances of winning a game either. So.
Yeah. So
that'll happen.
I think we move on to Serie A.
We move on to the better league. Quick one. We'll touch on Inter Milan versus Sassuolo. Sassuolo is the hipsters Atalanta, is what they're being dubbed. The better Atalanta. Just one of my favorite team to watch right now in Europe, all of Europe. I think it's Sassuolo. Such a fun team to watch. If you have time at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, use my ESPN Plus, log on and watch the game. That's going to be a good game to watch. Even though Inter is very boring, it's going to be really interesting to see how the Sassuolo team lines up against them, who's already beaten Napoli, may I add.
I mean, Sassuolo is a nice high-flying offense. Defense, but offensively, very good. Good. And Berardi just got an inform in FIFA to prove him
Good
right.
to mention.
Yep. Do you have a score on that one?
Ooh, I'm gonna go 2-2. I'm gonna go nice high scoring draw, 2-2. I think it's gonna be a barn burner. I think it's gonna be a lot of chances.
Yeah. I mean, Sassuolo's been proving people wrong week after week, but I think I'm gonna lean Inter. I mean, I know they're coming back from a tough Champions League result, but I think they'll pull this one off. Maybe a 2-1 win for Inter. Lukaku is on fire.
Boga lines up against Ashley Young, right?
Yeah,
Berardi
lines up against Ashley Young. That guy's gonna get put in a blender. Berardi's gonna
Boga versus Hakimi.
Hakimi.
No chance. Hakimi versus Boga. That would be a good game to watch. That would be a good matchup to watch. I love Sassuolo lately. I hope they stay healthy all year. It'll be interesting to see how high they finish from the table. Beef,
Yeah.
any guesses?
Inter's a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. They always seem to find a way to win in Serie A. I don't know. At least last year they did. You seemed like they were like, oh, this team stinks. They get a red card in the 5th minute and start losing 1-0, and then they somehow win 2-1. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Inter.
Yeah, something to note was last year they had a lot of games that they were ahead in blue leads. This year they've been behind in a lot more games and have come back to win games. So it's pretty much a flip-flop, and they have one of the least or worst defenses in the league this year, which is not great, and yeah, that doesn't help. Not Inter's characteristic.
And then to pivot, the biggest game of the weekend, the Derby della Sole, technically a rivalry game. It's a Napoli versus Roma. I don't know if anyone else wants to kick it off before I go on a tangent, but I'll leave it up to you guys first.
I'm a quick guy, so I got this. Napoli's coming out hot. They're going to come out hot. Think they go up 2-0. Roma pulls one back. Napoli scores a late 1-3-1.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Seaman back?
I think he's like a game time decision.
Okay.
So I don't, as of now, we're throwing this pod.
We don't know. Chat members, this group specifically doesn't agree, but I think Roma could be the real deal this year. Do I think they're unbelievable and will kill Napoli? No. But there's a lot of teams in this league that are dependent upon certain players. Milan, Ibra, we'll see how they fare without him. Juventus, Ronaldo, without him, they're pretty much nobody, invisible.
Yeah.
And Inter, Lukaku, in a way, he's been healthy, thank God. But if they lose him, it's going to be a tough ride. And Napoli maybe saw it with Osimhen a little bit recently.
I think definitely, yeah.
However, Roma hasn't had Dzeko for a while now, and they've been extremely good. I'm going to lean Roma 2-1 here, but I think it could be a draw, 2-2.
The only thing I'd counter on that Roma point is that this month they played bum teams.
Yeah.
They played a bad Fiorentina team with their prior manager, Genoa and Parma. I don't think they've been truly tested. They've played Juve this season and played well against them, so you're right. They've been playing well, which I don't like. I think they're very boring, but they've been playing well. I think Napoli with this game, it's a derby, it's a big match. Coming off the Maradona death,
True.
I don't think they lose this game. I really don't. That doesn't mean they win. I don't think they lose it. I think they're gonna be playing with an extra, even though they have a Europa League game Thursday, which they're playing like bums. I don't even know if they play their best 11, but the big game is Sunday. I don't know if they lose it. I don't think they can. It's like it's not written in the skies. So I think the players will be given a little extra something that game.
Yeah,
Gattuso will at worst grit out a draw.
Gattuso is
himself.
Yeah, I love Napoli. Insigne,
I-
one of my favorite players
yeah.
in the world on Italy for sure. Mertens, same thing. But Insigne needs to show up because he's been a little on
That
and off.
last game.
Yeah. But yeah, your point is taken. I think they have a fire under their ass right now.
I think I know. You gotta look at the whole context. I think the Maradona death might give them a little bit. So I'm going 2-1 Napoli.
Okay.
Let me check where this is. Even though I don't think home and away matters anymore because of
this is at Napoli.
It's at the San Paolo.
Yes.
Might be a different name by the time this podcast come out, but that'll be a good game to watch. Definitely watch that. I'd argue it's better than it's at the San Paulo. I'd argue it's better than the EPL game that day.
I cannot root for a team or say they're gonna win whose top goal scorer and assist leader played for my team and literally did jack shit for a whole season. So I can't root for a team whose top goal scorer and assist person is Henrik Mkhitaryan. So yeah, I'm gonna have to lean Napoli on this one.
Best start to a season. Best start to a season in his career.
I don't care.
Scorcher the last weekend versus Parma.
Great goal.
Congrats, he scored. What place are they in?
Third.
19th. Parma.
Oh yeah, but they're the American owner. You can't hate them.
All right.
Rebuilding.
They're arguably the second best team in Italy then.
Next to Fiorentina?
No, next to Udinese.
Fiorentina has American owner too. And Roma does now still, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I'm just a little disappointed. We don't have to touch on it, but Paul didn't mention the biggest match of the week of Lazio versus Udinese.
I was gonna mention something.
6:30 a.m. Sunday. That's a gritty time.
I'll be there.
Also,
Aquile are gonna smoke.
Hat trick.
It is on TV. It is not on ESPN Plus. It is on ESPN News and ESPN Deportes.
I got prime time.
Immobile hat trick.
Immobile scores 5 before the 30th minute.
Udinese did play 120 minutes today, so that is not very good for them. And lost.
And DePaul played all 120.
Yes.
Not great. All right, boys.
Good pod. Good to
For those of you at home, give it a thumbs up. I like this pod.
See you next week with the top 8 finals of whatever the nickname game we made. We'll come up with a great name for it. But
the nickname game.
Hopefully fun with it as well, and Steve will be back for that, hopefully, to give his input. We'll be back next week, and if you want to follow us, Twitter, Calciofy, Instagram, KCalciofy, Twitch, KCalciofy. We're everywhere. And yeah, good pod, boys.
Baggies versus Track Boys gonna kill me.
Yep.
Go Eagles. Go Eagles.